What are some typical complications which arise in a probate?
So one of the first things you have to consider is when you're in court, the court is going to be monitoring everything that the executor is going to be doing. So the executor has to go to court and they have to get permission from the court to even act as the executor. Then they have to get permission to sell the property. So they have to go to court and get an order to sell it. So they have to know who the real estate agent is, what the listing price is. And if they deviate from that, then they have to go back to court and get permission to deviate from all of that. That takes time. It's money you might be wasting. The other thing you have to consider when you think of real estate, especially around here, is maybe it's not selling it as is. What if you have to put money into the property to get a little bit more out of the property? So then you might have to get permission to be able to spend some of the assets in order to do that. Whereas if you had a trust, you're not having to go to court and be monitored by this. You just have to be reasonable about what these expenses are. Or you just ask the beneficiaries, hey, I'm looking at spending $50,000 based on my realtor's recommendation. Do you guys agree? Because he says or she says we're going to get $200,000 more in profits out of this. But if you go to court, you have to justify that in the beginning. Why am I spending assets to make money? Sometimes the court says that's not important. Just get rid of it, get it off your hands. And they're going to say, no, you can't spend a little bit of money that way. Other things to think of, what if you have renters in there? What if they don't leave? Now you're in court trying to get rid of the renters because they're not leaving because they know somebody died. So now you have to fight with that. Where do you put the rental income that comes in? What if it's held in an LLC? So then that adds another level of complications to it. How do you keep the homeowner's insurance going? Do you have access to bank accounts to pay all of these bills? What if you have a situation where you have 2 or more beneficiaries and they can't agree on how to divide it? One of them wants to keep it, one of them wants to sell it, so now you're in court fighting about it in a probate. Whereas the trust generally says it's pretty clear, and who gets to make that decision? And now you're not in court, you're not fighting about it, and the judge isn't making the decision, right? The family's already decided what that looks like and who gets to make that decision.
Check the full episode on our YouTube channel and on Apple Podcast.